of Ephepheni location in Mount Aleph fear for their lives after 5 family members were brutally murdered by unknown people in the early hours of Thursday morning. The Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mabuyane, vows to fight corruption. Moshesh Agricultural Technical School in the Alfredsburg district requests a newly built hostel. Good evening and welcome to the Informer News channel. My name is Talita Mukafai. The case of 2 Lesotho soldiers who are facing charges of stock theft at Maluti is remanded to the 4th of September next week. Today, the court said it wants to interrogate the authenticity of the evidence given by the soldiers' attorney when pleading for bail. The 2 are pleading not guilty of charges, saying they were in the country to search for stolen livestock. Meanwhile, there are reports that there are talks behind closed doors for the release of the soldiers. The reports are saying that the 4 SANDF members are also arrested in Lesotho. The Lesotho Deputy Prime Minister on his Twitter account says he will lead the delegation to South Africa to meet with President Cyril Ramaphosa of the arrest of the Lesotho Defence Force soldiers in the country. However, the South African government has not confirmed this. A disagreement between Chief Disetso Lipiane and a construction company that was hired to build the road DR 0813 Matatiele in the Eastern Cape led to a dead stop of the reconstruction of this road. Andile Namapunga reports.
In October 2018, members of the community in Matatiele brought the town into a standstill. The members, especially those who own vans that ferry people from the rural areas to and from town, were complaining about the bad conditions of roads, and they were demanding that government must deal with the issue as quick as possible. The protests led to the MEC of Transport, Tikane Xotiwe, who was then at Public Works, to visit the area and listen to the demands. This financial year, MEC Xotiwe, who is now responsible for the Department of Transport, has given a go-ahead for a number of roads to be constructed. Road DR 0813 is one of them and was handed over to the construction company Parabet for it to be reconstructed. But according to reports, the construction company and Chief Lipiane could not agree over the sourcing of quarry to be used for the reconstruction of the road. The owners of the constructor, Mzamumini, said the chief demanded him to pay for the quarry as it is the community's resource. Mini could not do that as the payment was not included in the document. Because of that, the department instructed the construction company to leave the site, as there were also threats that the machinery could be damaged. It is not known when is the road going to be reconstructed, as it is reported that the stoppage is for the 3rd time. I am Andile Nomabunga for the Informer.
The police commissioner in the Eastern Cape province, Liziwe Njinga, has expressed astonishment following the brutal killing of the 5 family members at Ephepheni in Mount Aleph. According to a police report, unknown men arrived at the family's house and requesting one of the family members, who was then attacked outside the house and beaten to death. It is said that these attackers proceeded to the house and fired shots and later set the house on fire. 2 children between the ages of 10 and 12 years were burnt beyond recognition, and no arrests have yet been made. The Informer had previously reported about the rivalry between the taxi owners from Mount Aleph and the van owners who reside at Mpeni village under Chief Notembile Nomgezana. Report says the fight led to the death of one of the taxi owners and 2 vehicles burnt to ash. The Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mabuyane, says the Special Investigating Unit will start with government departments to investigate corruption cases. The SIU arrived in the province on request from the Premier.
The Premier of the Eastern Cape Province, Oscar Mabuyane, says the Special Investigating Unit has arrived in the province. According to Mabuyane, the invitation of the SIU to the province is an attempt to root out corruption. Mabuyane was speaking during a press conference in Port Elizabeth on Wednesday.
On fighting corruption, we welcome the direction provided by our President to all of us in the governing party to fight corruption. so that we can protect the public resources. We also welcome the SIU that we have requested as a province from President. I'm told they've arrived already, they've started their work, they've already visited a couple of departments, and they will also be looking at a number of municipalities across our province to deal with this issue of PPE procurement and other corruption-related cases that might be brought forward.
Mabuyane also condemned the irresponsible alcohol consumption that had resulted in a spike of road car accidents. In a report submitted by law enforcement agencies, more than 83 cases of drunken driving were recorded.
Let's take full responsibility, and we are really appealing to our people that drink and drink responsibly. We are working with the industry, around the liquor industry, around such kind of campaigns. So it's going to be important that our people take that. This week, liquor sales outlets were allowed to operate in our province under alert level 2 regulations that were announced by the President and as well as the Minister of COGTA. Our law enforcement agencies have recorded 83 cases of drunken driving and 37 cases where an accident occurred due to a person driving under the influence of liquor. From these cases, we can see that there are alcohol users who are just not fit to use liquor in a manner that does not endanger their lives and the lives of other people.
Reporting for The Informer, I am Kayakazi Chapile.
After the outbreak, the community of Queen's Mercy in Ward 12 wants the Department of Education to rebuild their hostel. More on the story when we come back.
Rush to Spa-selected shops from the 3rd to the 9th of September for their 7-day special. Buy Sunlight Liquid Pouch 750 ml refill for only $18.99. Nola Mayonnaise Original 750 grams. Buy 2 for only 40 rands. Get yourself Rama 70% fat spread original 1 kg for only $33.99. Kellogg's Cornflakes 1.2 kg. Buy 2 for 100 rands. Spring Meadow Yogurt assorted 1 kg for only $18.99. Buy Greenfield IQF frozen chicken mixed portion 4.2 kg at $112.99. These specials are available at selected shops: Rolliers, Coxted, Bizana, Matatila Super Spa, Market Super Spa, and Mount A-Leaf. Hurry while stock lasts.
The community of Queen's Mercy in Ward 12 and the Matatiela local municipality is calling on the Department of Education to rebuild Moshesh Agricultural Technical School's hostel, as their children are not safe in the school's unmaintained infrastructure. It was only 2 weeks ago when the Department of Education's MEC Fundilekade was at the school to formally hand over the classes that got a facelift. That is when the request was launched.
The community of Queen's Mercy in Ward 12 under the Matatia local municipality calls upon the Department of Education to rebuild Moshesh Agri-Tech High School's hostel, as their children are not safe in the school's unmaintained infrastructure. It was only 2 weeks ago when the Department of Education, MEC Fundilekade, was at the school to formally hand over the classes that got a facelift. That is when the request was launched. Mahata Diakai, who is a grade 12 learner, said their living condition is not conducive.
We are currently living in the hostels. The living conditions are not one for a normal human being to live at. So if ever they would give a helping hand, it would be beneficial for us and also for the next grade 12 learners.
The school's principal, Makalo Mutsapi, said the school's infrastructure refurbishment was long overdue because it has been damaged since the year 1960.
Calling and prostrate to the MEC to say, indeed there are the hostels that used to house learners who would go for studies even late, Now, they are white elephants. We are humbling ourselves for consideration that if there can be funds from the department, we be given a priority. This school will never be a white elephant. It is here to exist for a very long time. We are actually claiming our lost integrity.
The chairperson of the school governing board, Kotswana Mushweshwe, also requested the Department of Education to rebuild the hostel.
How far can Kagamun when it's now Shiva School Saruna? Sit to face again need. Born on Hangwa is Namasenke Ayamu. Hasel Zagimundo. Kina Wesona if you are too far. Ming Rona, Liz Chavasapano Munam Chef. Hagis Chavasamu Chef, Kopanya, teacher, Mohole Twanika Hofe. Retlakisa kopo e kgolo e sa iketsising go batshwari ba sekolo go ra ke batshwari ba sekolo ke so Department of Education ndate ya ratetseng kwa re kopa go wena le bohle kaofela gore o ebe mpo kenyeng letsogo le re phamisetse sekolo sa sabotse se tsowe hle bana beso se hauwe botjha.
MEC Fundile Kate said.
Ngoku nithi kum anina hostel yenu the ibolile izafika la police izihlelela besidlebeni ithi MEC bathi bangapi abantwana babo kuzafuneka siphinde sabuya district director xa sendihleli phaa intoba kuna BIF plan yolwakhiwo lwee-hostels are we building those hostels on new schools, or are we building those hostels in the schools that already are in the system, so that uzokwazi appreciate the dynamic nature of the schooling system that you seek to build?
Reporting for the Informer, I am Matabo Pahlane.
After 10 years of running a successful business in pharmacy, which has now been expanded to 3 branches, Diatile Ndwa says women need to focus on their lane, be committed and stop unnecessary competition with each other if they want to be successful in the business. Diatile said these words in an interview with the Informer to advise and inspire businesswomen.
You are a woman and you are a black woman. Abantu abaninzi especially amadoda aba-expect into enhle engathi vele emntwini ongumama. What can you say ngabantu abangomama abazimisela into yokubana bafuna ukwenza utshintsho, especially kwi-industry okanye kwi-business world?
Njengoba bethi njalo eqaleni, as a black young woman, it's very important uba uhlale kulane yakho. Unga competing na anybody, because siphila impilo ezingafaniyo. Uzofumanisa uba omnye umuntu unirhola mhlawumbi i-R100 noba i-2 but nispenda ngendlela ezihlukileyo. Yebo. But xa usazi wena uba i-aim yakho kukuthi nokuthi, you need to make sure you go for it. And into emandi ngathi as abantu abangomama is that umuntu uyakwazi uku-approacha na for ntoni na. For example, I would say umuntu xa ezothenga morning after pill, it's very rare uba aye kumuntu ongutata. Uyisa kumuntu ongumama because ufuna understand your family planning, ufuna umuntu ongumama because ufuna umuntu oyi-understandayo loo nto. Kangoba at some point xa bendisaqala abantu balapha eKokset, they never thought uba I have a child. I had a 3-year-old at that time when I opened, so they couldn't understand the experience yam uba uwazelaphi utreat abantwana ungenamntwana. Yabo. So la experience le ungazukwazi ukuyithenga because alokho awunothatha i-experience ile ntika incwadi uyizise apha. Kufuneka uyazi uba uyi-experimentile kumntana wakho So it was quite advantageous for me, yes,
Okay.
as a woman.
As a woman.
The full interview between Diatile and the informer about her 10-year journey in business will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, The Informer newspaper, tomorrow night. Women's confidence is on their beauty and how they look. Let Radiant Girls and Boys Salon make you feel beautiful and good about yourself. We do everything that you want, from hair, nails, and makeup. We also specialize with kiddies' hair. Find Radiant Girls and Boys Salon at number 113 High Street in Matatiele. Don't you worry about your safety during this pandemic, because Radiant offers a mobile salon in Matatiele, in Durban, and also in Johannesburg, with our team coming in full PPE to protect you and themselves. We operate from Monday to Friday at 8 o'clock to 6 p.m., Saturday at 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sundays. For booking, call VUYO at 079-282-9178 or WhatsApp 072-327-4479. Radiant Girls and Boys Salon. Restore your inner glow. Andile Nomapunga is on standby with our sports news.
Thank you, Manzalamzi. With your sports news, I am Andile Nomapunga. Good evening. Orlando Pirates have lifted the suspension of striker Justin Shonga, but his return this season is not guaranteed. Shonga was withdrawn from the Pirates squad that reported to the biological safe environment together with Tim Ngozi Lodge after they were found guilty of breaching club protocol. Lodge has since rejoined the team in camp after his case was heard before the club's disciplinary committee and has featured on the pitch once again. Mamelodi Sundowns spoiled Kaizer Chiefs' chances of winning the 2019-2020 Absa Premiership League. This happened on Thursday evening when Chiefs was beaten to 1-0 by Amasandawana. Meanwhile, this weekend Kaizer Chiefs face the remainder of the season without striker Leonardo Castro. Colombian striker Leonardo Castro will not take part in any PS election for the remainder of the season, following the injury which cut short his participation in the match against Stellenbosch over the weekend. This then brings us to the end of our sports news bulletin. From me, Andile Nomapunga, I'm taking it back to the news desk.
Now let's take a look at the financial markets. The US dollar is trading at 16 Rand 73 cents. The pound costs 22 Rand 24 cents. Euro is selling at 19 Rand 91 cents. Gold is selling at 1,057 Rand 45 cents and fine ounce. Meanwhile, platinum costs $938.32 and crude oil costs $42.04. The community of Queen's Mercy in Ward 12 and the Matatiele local municipality is calling on the Department of Education to rebuild Moshesh Agricultural Technical School's hostel, as their children are not safe in the school's unmaintained infrastructure. It was only 2 weeks ago when the Department of Education's MEC Fundilekade was at the school to formally hand over the classes that got a facelift. That is when the request was launched. This then brings us to the end of our bulletin. From me, Talita Mkafane, good night.